guess who's back? A Toy Kind of Mood, episode 5. Travis Moody, your host, here with Ronnie again. What's up, bud?
Hey, how you doing, man? How you been?
Well, I'd be doing better if the Patriots actually won last week. I see you got the jersey on, but otherwise I'm doing pretty swell. We have a special guest this week. My guy, we met on Maverick, Top Gun.
That's right.
Fabio Di Nino. Am I saying that right? Oh, Di Nino.
That's right. No, Di Nino. Yeah, it's Italian.
Not Di Nino?
No. It's Italian. It's just Di Nino, but you guys can call me Fobs or Fabster or whatever.
Cool, man. And we can find you on YouTube at the Fabster.
Yeah, I'm at Fabster on YouTube, at Fobster360 on Instagram. Basically just a big, long time Mezco collector, basically since the line started. I don't know if you guys want to get into the background and all that stuff right now, or
go ahead,
structuring this out a certain way, but
yeah.
I'm a little younger than you guys, as we mentioned in the pre-show, but I basically grew up in the 90s, early 90s to late 90s in that Toy Biz bubble of like X-Men classics and Spider-Man classics, and then the early Legends, Marvel Legends from the Toy Biz days, and obviously the pre-Toy Biz stuff like Age of Apocalypse and all that stuff before then. But when Marvel Legends and Spider-Man classics hit, it was like right at the age where I was, just old enough to appreciate it. I went really heavy into collecting the Toy Biz stuff. Then of course I took a break kind of in my high school years to focus on girls and sports and stuff like that. And then I randomly found, after high school, I found the new Hasbro Marvel Legends were back in stores, and it was when they were called like Return to Marvel Legends. And that drew me back into the line, and they've been going up and up since then. And I was trying to keep up with it and collect it. That was like my hardcore line, for the longest time. And I don't know, it just got to the point I wanted to collect other stuff. Like I picked up NECA along the way, and it just got to the point where I realized I wasn't going to be able to get it all for all the lines that I wanted. And at that point, Mezco was also starting up, and I knew that it was something special. So throughout time, I just started phasing out some of the older lines. Marvel Legends and NECA started to go by the wayside, and then more Mezco stuff started to take over. And eventually I just said, I'm just going to sell literally everything that is not Mezco, because if I don't own anything from those lines, I don't feel compelled to continue to collect them. So once I got rid of all that stuff, it was just a weight off my shoulders. I made a good chunk of change that allowed me to pick up some key pieces for the new Mezco, focused collection. And I've been here kind of just making that my focus for the past couple of years now. And I have amassed what I think to be one of the most complete Mezco collections out there, at least open. I know there's some crazy people who don't open anything, and they've got, so many versions of like stuff that I've missed that is super hard to find, but still in box in the plastic. And to me, it's like, come on, man.
That's a waste with Mezco. The reason we're talking Mezco Toyz and we brought Fab on, and thanks so much for joining us, is this is super articulated. Yeah, super articulated and detailed and next level. These are the figures that you get in between, say, a Hasbro Black Series Marvel Legends G.I. Joe classified a $20 figure, and the Hot Toys, the Sideshow collectibles, where you're looking in the $200 range. So it's kind of in that fine in the middle point there. You're getting some of the great detail and face scans for the money. I think some of the toys go a little higher than others, but our focus today is going to be, and the reason we're here, we're in a good mood. I know Fabio's in a good mood from last week or 2 weeks ago, and me too, because we were able to secure this bad boy.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, you can see he's right here. So the Shadow Batman Shadow edition of the Supreme Knight.
See, I'm one of those keep them in the box guys. So seeing you guys unbox them, it breaks me. Everything I have is in box. I have 20 years.
You can't keep this guy in the box. You can't. Look at all this. Look at all the stuff that it comes with. You just can't. You just
you get an entire, like 2-3 trays worth of accessories and goodies, and it's got this crazy, intricately fabric, detailed body with these vinyl overlays over the top of it that kind of simulate armor pieces. So that looks really cool. It's got a weird mix of like kind of a Christian Bale and Val Kilmer suit in my eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good comparison. I like that.
And that's what I love about Mezco in general is what really got me into the line is that, like you said, it's somewhere between Hot Toys and Marvel Legends. And it sits, at least when it started, it was in that like $80 to like $100 range. Depending on releases now, they can get a little bit higher, but to me, it's when you grow up collecting stuff, You eventually get rid of it like I did, but you always end up recollecting newer, better versions of the same characters and toys you grew up with.
Yep.
So to me, this is what Mezco is. This is just that next like logical step between, you know, the Marvel Legends that I grew up with and the toys that I want now that are of those characters.
Yeah, I really like Hot Toys, and I was one of those that came in late to Mezco. Man, if I would have known, I wouldn't have. Like, I really have to pick and choose any kind of Hot Toys I want. Cause yeah, it's so expensive. You can get 3, sometimes 4 Mezcos for the price of 1 Hot Toys. And I tell you, the articulation, the artwork, the sculpts, they're pretty amazing for Mezco. I mean, I was blown away. Where you said like people with the description, when you mentioned how you have to kind of like dump your collection to get something new. That's where we're having a problem in one of our chat right now. Everybody has so much stuff and so much stuff like box they don't know what to do with.
Right.
You know, I've done the same thing. I've slowly started dumping, or should I say, selling a lot of my stuff just so I can buy upgrades, like you said. So it is a good point that you said that, because that's what we're all kind of stuck right now. We're in that transition that you hit off, you know, years ago, which is you are so far ahead of the game when it comes to Mezco.
Yeah, I've had a little bit of foresight on that. I see people like at the point where I was a couple of years ago, and I'm just like, dude, just it. Like you said, just dump it. Honestly, a lot of that stuff. I had a lot of wrestling toys too, like Mattel WWE. That stuff is not even worth its weight in plastic.
No,
like,
you find it at yard sales now, just free.
Right. You find them in.
Hey, that was my
just like parts.
That was my number one toy. That was my number one toy growing up. But there was the Hasbro, the small ones,
right?
The ones that used to push down and they jump up, or they do this.
Yeah, Marty Jannetty and
yeah.
Shawn Michaels shooting off the ropes.
And a lot of that stuff is coming back, and that also touches on the point of like the toys you grew up with coming back newer and better. Except now there's this push to like bring back retro toys. So you see like Hasbro or Mattel doing their like, you know, retro style WWE line, and you know, you got Masters of the Universe coming back with new articulation, but in those retro styles. And like that's cool, but I'm not like a vintage retro guy. I'm for sure attracted to like the fine, high level of detail, lots of accessories, lots of articulation, playability. I do photography with these guys at the end of the day. So I need something. Travis, I'm glad that I'm talking with you, because as someone who also works in entertainment, the way that I look at my photography and frankly, my collection is kind of like in this movie set entertainment bubble of like, these are, you know, these aren't indie film actors. These are like, this is Tom Cruise. This is Maverick right here. You know, this is Val Kilmer himself playing Batman, let's say.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet how you're able to blend in the two worlds.
Yeah.
We brought you here. Yo, go ahead.
I got a question. You mentioned Val Kilmer a couple of times. Is that hinting at one of your favorite Batman actors, or is that just?
You know what? He was the first one that I grew up with. Batman Forever was my first Batman film, and then of course I went back and watched the other ones. But I had the Batman Forever toys growing up specifically, and you know, I'm a '90s kid, so my first Star Wars was Phantom Menace. And, you know, I had to backtrack and find out, oh, like, I thought I figured it out. I'm like, oh, my God, you guys, I think Anakin Skywalker might be Darth Vader. And, and I'm saying this to my stepdad, and he's just like, all right, let's go see Revenge of the Sith, buddy.
Yeah, see, I grew up in the 80s. Once I started getting into toys, I was around that 8 to 10 years old. So it was like late 80s, early 90s. And the passion has always been there. I mean, it's never faded, you know, and like with Mezco and everything, even Hot Toys, you can have toys as an adult and it's cool. You know, they're not the tacky, you know, non-posable solid plastic pieces that they were when we were kids. They're great now.
Yeah, I mean, every Mezco figure essentially comes with a contract you have to sign in your blood saying this is not a toy for children. This is an adult collectible. You know, it's worth it, honestly. I'm a lot happier now, and even though I have a lot of them, it's nowhere near the amount that I used to have. If you go on my channel and check out like my old, you know, collection videos, I had these same 6 D-Tolls full of NECA figures, and I'm talking like 16 to 20 figures per cube. Now it's 5 at most per cube, you know?
Yeah, that's true. It's an easier, prettier display. Oh, like I was about to say, the Supreme Knight Shadow Edition. What makes this particular Batman figure? I know it looks spectacular, but from someone who's been collecting Mezco toys for a while, what makes this like the must-get Mezco toy right now, or what makes this, what separates this Batman figure from some of the others in your eyes?
It's someone who has literally like all of the Mezco Batmans that are not the Dark Knight Returns ones, which I got when they came out, but I'm not into the very like specifically stylized after a certain look from a comic. You know, I like what Mezco does with their like original designs for figures. the guy who designs for Mezco, he's this guy, one of the designers. His name is his Instagram handle is Radioactive Uppercut, and he's one of those like vinyl chibi toy, you know, super deformed art toy designers. So he brings a lot of those sensibilities into the Mezco figures, and I like that it creates their own little like look visual like universe, and it ties them all together. So I got rid of the Dark Knight ones because of that. I have all the other ones leading up until, you know, this new Supreme Knight, and this one I can tell you is for sure the best, because you get what works best with all the other versions, i.e. like the fabric suit with the vinyl armor on top is what a lot of the Sovereign Knight versions had. This is the only of the Supreme Knights that has that, and it works the best in terms of posability, and like the way the suit creases where you articulate it is natural in a way that you're not gonna feel like you're gonna ruin it. You know, obviously if you leave it for too long, that's just one of the caveats of owning this. Leaving it posed in any way for too long is bound to damage it. But again, for photography and short-term posing, and just like what Travis is doing, is literally just like, you know, watching his episodes of 911 on Netflix or on Hulu and just posing the figure in his hands.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's
I
hand
really
candy is what I like to say. It just feels good to hold. You get the most accessories of any of the Batmans, the smoke effect, the interchangeable, you know, bat emblems. You get the most heads with all the Batmans. This is basically the other two versions of Supreme Knight rolled up into one in an all black packaging. It's the best.
Yeah, right. I mean, the multiple heads are amazing, and you know, the old Bruce is pretty sick. That head they got. So I got a question for you. Is this seeing the amount of accessories from the like the movie effects from the, you know, the gas bomb or the explosions? Is that common with Mezco figs? Do they usually come with accessories like that? Where where it shows, you know, you can actually set up a scene, or is this a special variant because it has that in it?
Well, this is the first Batman that comes with the smoke effect. This smoke effect originally came with the two overseas Asia Comic-Con Shadow Assassin versions of Gomez, which were, there was a black variant and a white variant of Gomez in ninja outfits. That I think one of them is like only 200. There's only 200 of them in release, and then the other one's maybe like 400. So they're like the rarest Gomez's out there. And those smoke effects originally only came with them. Then for MezcoCon this past summer, they released the Golden Dragon edition of Gomez, and that had a smoke effect, the same one, but the first time we've been able to get our hands on it. And then there's also the Golden Skull Ninja. So basically these effects have only come with ninja variants of Mezco figures. This is the first Batman that has it.
Nice.
And it has so many accessories that this is also the first Batman that's like sideways in the box. Like when you pull it out, Travis, it's like horizontal, right? Normally when you pull it out, he's like upright with the box.
Yeah.
Definitely. Now, give me what's your favorite accessory with this particular Supreme Knight in comparison to some of the other ones?
Definitely the wired cape, even though the other Supreme Knight had it. But it's one of those things that the first Supreme Knight did that people were like, oh, why haven't all the Batmans up to this point had that? And then this one came out and it has the interchangeable emblems, and everyone's like, oh, why hasn't every Batman had that coming out up until this point? So just because it's new to this Batman, probably the interchangeable emblems, I would say, is the best accessory with this.
That's what sold me on it when I first saw a preview for it. I was like, you can change the bat symbol,
right?
I'm buying this. And I thought for $90 that this was a hell of a. I know $90 is it's a lot of money to spend on an action figure, but for this, I was all in at that point.
Here's the thing with that. I mean, we've been spending on Star Wars Black Series, the recent Hasbro exclusives. They've been around the $50 to $60 mark for one of those packaged figs. This Batman here, when Travis first started, posted it, I had it in my car. I was gonna cash out. I'm like, I don't know, we'll see. And I ended up closing it out. I still regret that. This would have been my official first Mezco that I really, really liked, and I should have jumped on it, seeing how many accessories, seeing the pictures of it online. Just this single Batman has kind of drawn me into the company, and I see myself now just looking at stuff that I normally buy and questioning, should I not get that? Because if I don't get those two, $25, $40 figs, I could buy myself an awesome Mezco,
That's exactly the logic, is like, every time you go to Target to get toilet paper, it's like, oh, I'll take a trip down to Toy I'll see what's there. And then the $20 to $40 impulse purchase sets you back. Right. And to me, it's like, well, I'm not looking for those figures, so I'm not vulnerable to those impulse purchases. Every now and then, like, I'll crack if there's an accessory or a vehicle or something that I think will work well with Mezco, so I'll go outside of it. Like I bought the McFarlane Bat Raptor, you know, because it works so well with Mezco, especially actually with this Supreme Knight and even the regular Supreme Knight, because you can have the wired cape. I should have pulled it out of the detolf, but you can have the wired cape coming off the back of it, how he lays in there, so it looks like he's actually rolling around, flowing behind him.
Yep. Now you brought up McFarlane. Is there like, how do I say this? Wouldn't it be awesome if there was like a joint collaboration between a Spawn Fig and Mezco? I mean, that's something I would love to see. But I mean,
you know, I think we're gonna change the mood in a little bit, and we'll ask that question. But
here comes a bad mood.
Right, that's up there for sure, and it's something that I would love to actually ask Todd himself, because I've seen him in interviews saying like, no, I will never license Spawn to anybody. Nobody's gonna do Spawn better than me. I'm like, all right, cool. Take that challenge. Do a soft goods outfit and cape Spawn. I love the Kickstarter one. That's great. It's a tribute to, you know, the original Spawn figure, and it's great as that kind of piece. But if we're talking like, he's even said it himself, this isn't meant to be the ultimate Spawn figure. If you want the ultimate Spawn figure, to me, it's going to have to be like a soft goods premium, like $100 figure. I'll gladly shell out $100 on I'm not even like Spawn, but I would love a $100 Spawn figure.
Right.
And what is the craziest? Let's get in a happy mood now. What is the craziest, most valuable figure you own?
Ooh. Man, quarantine's got me making weird decisions, man.
Yep, us all.
Yeah, and
well, look, Fabio, you just made our whole entire chat room feel like shit, because you're like, I don't have to hunt to Target. I'm not vulnerable to buying groceries every time I buy $40 worth of figures. I can just spend my $90 to $150 at home once a month, once every 2 months, and I'm like, why didn't I think of that in March,
right?
Instead of splurging on thousands of dollars in figures under quarantine?
So this quarantine, we're all breaking out spreadsheets in one of our groups, and we're like, all right, how much did I actually spend away from the lives and whatnot? We're like, let's
and
see,
one of the final years I collected Marvel Legends, somebody did the same thing. They ran the numbers of everything that had been announced up until that point, that has been released or that will be released by the end of the year, and it was like $1,600 in Hasbro product, and I'm like, maybe more than that. I'm just like, no, I don't want it.
Yeah. I've refused to look because I don't want to see the damage.
It's too much, man, and it's a lot of real estate too. You know, that's a lot of space.
Yeah, I'm fortunate. We own a house, so my entire attic is like an open attic, and I have totes upon totes of stuff because I collect them in the box, and I don't really. I pick and choose what I display, and when I do, it's in a box. So I have so much stuff stored that's like I could open up a toy store in the neighborhood with the amount of crap that I have.
Yeah, there's people that have, you know, all their collections in like storage units, and they just open that up a couple times a week. People come by and just buy stuff out of the storage unit.
Right.
Yeah. So what is it? What is your craziest, most valuable fig?
Yeah. So I went a little crazy during quarantine. I didn't go hunting for anything specifically that I wanted to, like, you know, fill the void of something that I was missing. But I have I get all my Mezcos through a local vendor who has a booth at Frankenson. So he just orders everything for me, aside from exclusives that I have to order for myself. And he just hits me up when he has them, and I go get them. So every now and then he'll talk to other vendors, and he'll get something pretty rare, and he'll throw it my way, knowing that I want it. I'm usually like his go-to Mezco sales guy. So when he hit me up and he had a Toy Fair blade, which is it's different from the other two blades. There's up until that point there was only the one regular blade, and I had the way I had my collection displayed, I had like I think the two Moon Knights or the three Daredevils or something in front. And I could have put blade and another blade behind it, and that would have fit perfectly. And I'm like, oh, he's got this Toy Fair blade, and it would fit perfect right here. Only $450? Sure, why not? And I did it, and then great, I loved it. I got it in hand. The next day after I met up with him to get it, they announced the new MDX blade. So now this new blade that I got to fill the void where two blades could have easily gone, I now have to move it completely and make space for three. It's that's part of the fun of collecting for me, is like that ever-changing like art installation of your display, your collection.
It's a game you play.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's got to be the Toy Fair blade. It's cool because it it comes with a bomber jacket, which is totally different than the other ones, and there's two versions of it. One of them doesn't have the bomber jacket, so I actually got the rarer one, which is awesome.
Nice.
Oh, terrific! Yeah. We need some more blade in our life. That's for sure.
Honestly, I'm really excited for the Netflix one, or not Netflix, Disney Plus, I guess, right?
Oh yeah, it's what? How do you say his name? Mata something
Mahershala
Ali.
Ali.
Yeah,
From,
Marshall. Yeah, exactly.
from
Sorry, I won't
Luke
butcher that.
Cage.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look back in a nostalgic mood here. Besides Mezco, and I know you were heavy on the Marvel Legends and then NECA, but what's the one toy you had as a kid that meant the most to you? I mean, you're still a kid, but
Yeah, well, I appreciate you saying that. You know, working where we do, there's some actual kids on set, and they can make you feel pretty old if you're like a year or two older than them.
But they're not playing with toys; they're playing with iPhones and
I know
iPads.
they're TikToking and stuff. You know.
Yeah, there you go. Whatever that is.
So the one toy I had growing up that was like my favorite thing to collect. You know, basically right up until where Marvel Legends took over, it was. Do you guys remember a toy line from Mattel called Max Steel? Yeah. I had a bunch of those Max Steel toys. They were like 12-inch figures. They were essentially boy Barbies because they had the exact same model. It was you buy the figure, you buy all these accessory packs, and you know there's biker version, there's Tiger King version, there's scuba diver version. You get all these versions, and they all have different accessories, and he's got his villains. So I had a bunch of those, and that was one of my favorite like lines. And what's funny about coming back to Mezco or rediscovering Mezco is that it's brought me back to the same model of like I've got all these figures, you know, with clothing. And if I buy a couple extras of one figure, or I see people selling parts from a figure that is difficult to get, and it would work well kit bashed with something I already have, a new outfit, a new, you know, belt overlay, something, I can end up with all these new figures. So I think Max Steel hits a little soft note in my heart because it was my introduction to that Barbie model, which is like huge now, especially with the soft goods clothing and like third-party head sculpts, 3D printing, like all that stuff is just crazy now. And you can assemble a brand new figure. I've done that a couple times here with, you know, I've got a Bane
Kit bashing.
Here. Exactly, kit bashing, but in a way that's better for people who don't like painting like me. It's so much easier to just get a body and throw some clothes on it, you know? So I got this Bane right here made from Storm Collectibles Hulk Hogan with the Mattel
That's awesome.
collecting.
That is pretty awesome.
And this is a set of clothing that I got from eBay. There's an eBay seller that just sells soft goods. You know,
You're
same
gonna have
thing.
people out there asking, now where can I buy that? Because that did look like a legit fake. Didn't look like a custom job at all.
Right.
It is legit parts, and it can get expensive if you're looking for legit parts. If you're getting like 3D printed custom stuff, it can get a little cheaper. This was a custom head sculpt that I had made for Nick Fury. So this was a Marvel Legends head that I had a sculptor redo and paint up for me. And this ran me like $60, you know, for the paint job.
He was hitting the gym. He's got a big broad chest there.
Yeah. Normally I got a jacket to go on him, but not right now. And you're gonna love this one, Trav. I brought this out just for you. This is
Duke.
Yeah,
there
bro.
He is.
So this is the same thing. I got an extra Steve Rogers from the Commander Rogers from Mezco, and then I got a custom suit, which actually costs more than the figure itself, and you know, swap some parts around. So
yeah. That's terrific. Hey, look, we got a few segments to go. Let's get silly with it. We just got silly with that one, and with that Duke, and now let's get silly. What is this craze? And you brought up his name about Gomez. People are going nuts over this guy. Who is he? Who's Gomez?
Man, that is the $1 million question. Everybody wants to know about the interdimensional roach of mystery. He is basically he is Mezco's mascot. He is the logo for the company, Gomez, Mezco. He's just kind of their mascot character, and the lore around him is murky but still somewhat defined. He's basically like an agent of interdimensional agency that travels through different dimensions to either fix chaos that they have caused by doing things in other dimensions, or, you know, trying to undo the mess that somebody else made. And a lot of that is wrapped up in the company being able to sell essentially like not accessory packs, but kind of generic figures that have their own designer branding to it, that will either attract people because of the accessories, or they just kind of get caught up in like, you know, the kitschiness of it. It's like, oh, it'd be dope to just have like a bunch of pink skulls fighting a roach man. Like there's that aspect, but then there's also like, oh, if I buy you know, this guy right here, this is the original Agent Gomez. You can buy him, take off his jacket. I can put that on that Nick Fury I showed you. I can, you know, pop off his head and put on like another head sculpt or something. And then you just got like a generic dude, like an agent of some kind. So the short answer is Gomez is the company's mascot, but the Gomez figures and everything that is, it's part of this thing called Rumble Society. It's their own internal universe brand that they don't have to pay licensing for. They can reuse parts from let's say the Punisher from Netflix has his vest with the skull. They can reuse that vest all black and do it with the stealth Gomez. So it's a good way for them to make money on, part sharing and not have to pay a licensing fee, and it's all just profits for them. And you end up with some pretty dope figures at the end of the day.
That's just props to how great Mezco is handling their line when they're creating their own IPs and going and just flying out. Before we let you go,
too, there's Baron Benz, who's like an underwater
oh, you even got
knight.
The shirts.
Yeah, I mean they come with shirts now. Like you buy the figure and it has a whole swag bundle pack, which is part of the reason people are a little upset in the community, because it's like,
is that like a Dr. Nocturnal and stuff?
Exactly. Yeah, he's another addition to Rumble Society. There's the pink skulls, there's the gold skull ninjas, there's all these variants of Gomez. It's all wrapped up in the Rumble Society.
That's terrific. Hey, before we wrap up, has there been a figure that you haven't been able to grab from Mezco, it's hard to get, or one that you really want to see in the line?
Okay, so we talked about that Spawn. That's something that I would like to see, but it's not going to happen from Mezco. What I would love to see from Mezco, and I think it would work really well in their format, is Watchmen. Either classic comic, even Zack Snyder film, like just those designs for the suits, or the new HBO TV show, which I thought was awesome, and it had some really good character designs. Like I'd love to get Looking Glass and Sister Night. It's hard to say what one figure I would want, but it would probably be a Rorschach from Mezco. You got the
I would buy
French
that
coat,
one.
pants, different heads with the different patterns of the mask. Like it's perfect. You can have the half mask, and you can have them eating beans. It's perfect.
Oh man,
it's untapped.
We all want that accessory, that canned beans.
Exactly, right? And honestly,
Ronnie,
that's another thing. Walter Kovacs in the comic, what is he when he's not Rorschach? He is just a bum in the streets, right? Yeah. So you buy the Rorschach, you got a bum for your displays too.
Oh man, that's a killer. That's such a killer answer, Ronnie. That he stole whatever answer I couldn't think of.
Yeah,
I'm curious. What would you guys think?
All right, Ronnie, go ahead.
Well, you said Spawn. That's where I was going. I would want to see a collaboration with Spawn. Yeah, that's plain and simple. I want to see all the accessories, multiple weapons, multiple joints, that cape,
spell effects.
Yeah, that's what I want. I would want Spawn, some special edition. Going into retirement, last one you're ever going to see. Let's all go in, hoorah!
Right.
Honestly.
What about you, Trav?
Oh, you're really going to put me on the spot.
I am. I'd love to.
All right. This is a shitty answer because I just bought the SH Figuarts Wonder Woman 84, but I see that the Wonder Woman they have, at least the one I see right now, is more of the comic, a general one. I'd like to see their work with a Gal Gadot. Now, I did see something in some of your videos, but it was like an older version. I'd like to see an updated scan of a Wonder Woman. It would frighten me because I just paid $65 for the SHF. So then it'd be like, all right, now I got to pay another 80, 90, for the Wonder Woman. So, but it would be, I am curious to see how Mezco would handle Gal.
Yeah, they did one, but it's from the first movie of hers, the solo movie. And it's decent. One of the heads looks better than the other. But I don't worry too much about like head sculpts because the third party market is so crazy. Like I have their Superman and their head sculpt is garbage. And I found someone who shrunk down a Hot Toys head for both the heat vision and the regular face. And it made the figure 100 times better.
That's awesome. All right. So let's wrap this up. I know we wish you could have more time, but it's Zoom. So they want us to zoom off it.
That's right.
Let's Supreme Knight Shadow Edition. Every time I have a guest on, I always say, like, what would you give it for a rating? Well, out of 5 Bibles, bringing in the GodHatesGeeks.com here, what would you give the Supreme Knight Shadow Edition out of 5? You can use 0.25, 0.75, all that.
I mean, it's so hard to call anything perfect, but it's about to hit perfect. I'm going to say it's like 4.95. There's always a little margin of error here and there with any figure.
Sure.
If I had one complaint, it would be like when you put the magnets on the thing, it can create some impressions in the suit. Obviously, it's just kind of a minor thing, but that's one little thing that makes it far from perfect, or that little.
Gotcha. All right. What is Fab? Thanks for coming on the show. Next time you said there's a Mezco Con coming up, so maybe we'll bring you back for that or a future big time release like we did with the Shadow Batman. What is your social media? Where can people find you on YouTube and stuff?
All right, so you guys can find me on IG at Fabster360. You can also check out my Mezco collection right here on YouTube on my YouTube channel, which is just Fabster. And while you're there, go ahead and hit subscribe. I'm trying to get 1,000 subscribers and start, getting a little bit of that YouTube Skrilla. If you guys mind helping me out, that'd be awesome. I got a new review up actually, which has been doing pretty well. I actually got my hands on the upcoming Mezco Fall Comic Con exclusive, which is a crimson version of the Golden Dragon Gomez that we got over the summer. That's awesome. I got a super advanced look at it. It hasn't even been announced yet, but if you want to check that out, it's on my channel. Go subscribe at Fabster. And also, I'm on the Articulated Comic Book Art podcast, which returns tomorrow on the Boog ACBA, BOOG_ACBA YouTube channel. We got a big return planned, but it's been a minute, so we're gonna shake the rust off. I'm glad I could do this with you guys.
Yeah, we're glad to have you. We'll definitely do a check-in later on towards the holidays, see if anything comes in, and you're always welcome to come back. We love having you. We'll definitely love having you again as well.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, because of you, I ordered a Netflix Punisher now.
Yes, so, you gotta get the Daredevil now, dude.
Here we no.
You got to get the Daredevil. You got to get a little display scene so you can tie him up to the chimney.
Travis, get ready. You're going to have to work a lot to get
I'll send you some links after.
All right, I'm putting all this on eBay as soon as we get off the air, and I'm going to stick
He's clearing it all. Thanks.
I got a guy. Just give it to me. I'll sell him for you.
All right. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate it. We'll be back next week. For Ronnie, Fabio, Travis Moody, A Toy Kind of Mood, episode 5. We'll see you again.
Thanks, guys.